Hey guys, today's topic, gun oil in cold weather. I've always kind of wondered what various gun oils would do in kind of extreme cold weather. Most oils in around freezing temps will do just fine. Very few are going to coagulate or sludge up if you're just around freezing. But we've got this thing called the polar vortex, and it's coming to town tonight. So we're going to see a temperature of around negative 17 degrees Fahrenheit. That's around negative 27 degrees science. Pretty cold. The wind chill is going to be something crazy like negative 40. But we're going to take advantage of that and see what a few of the gun oils I happen to have on hand do in extreme cold temperature. And before you leave a comment, I don't own a viscometer. This is just how I feel about how these gun oils are. This isn't science. This is purely subjective. But I am trying to be as objective as possible about it. Because I've got all these oils, as you'll see, in little sample containers, so I can kind of get a good idea of them next to each other about how viscous they are or not viscous they are, as the case may be. First off, we've got RemOil. RemOil is ubiquitous. You can get it just about frickin' anywhere, Walmart, what have you. It's real cheap too, about 89 cents an ounce if you get it in the larger sizes. I do not like RemOil. My experience has been that it kind of flashes off real easy. It has the viscosity, apparently, of about water. And it's kind of hard to tell in the video, of course, but there's actually pressure in this cup. It is 67 degrees in the room I'm sitting in right now. And this has flashed off to the point that there's pressure in here. And I think if you listen, yeah, that just all came out of there. So I think this stuff it doesn't stick around. If you put it on a gun, maybe there's something that's left behind, but you're not going to have a lot of lubrication there, especially if you go out on a hot day. It's just going to all just bake off immediately. And you can tell look, it doesn't even look like oil in there. It looks like I've just got a cup full of water. Next up, we've got Break Free. Ubiquitous. Break Free CLP, stuff that's been used in the Army forever. I don't particularly care for it. It's cheap. Again, you can get it anywhere. And obviously I don't use it much because if you notice, this is like Winchester branded. I think this can's like 10 years old. I've had it for a long time. And it's out of the aerosol. I don't have to squeeze it to get oil to come out. But it does the job. I mean, like I said, the Army's used it forever. Nice and cheap. As you can see, I'll hold both of them up to compare. Got RemOil on the top. So that's your kind of viscosity there. You can see how much the RemOil splashes around, whereas the CLP kind of holds its shape a little bit better. It kind of stays together. Next up, we've got helpful consumer advice, because you basically can't buy this oil. It's Benelli MF82. What they call Unifluid Allgun. Okay. Yeah, you pretty much can't buy this stuff. This is about, I think, like a 2-ounce bottle of this. And it came with my Benelli M2 shotgun. So that's about $600 an ounce if you want to get more, because as far as I can tell, they don't sell it in the United States. As you can tell, they got the Italian on it. I think it's just something that's thrown in with every gun and kind of slips past customs or something. I don't know. But it's a fairly light oil. It's very similar to CLP. Even looks about the same color as CLP. And if you get a cleaning kit off Benelli's website, they give you CLP. However, I have heard that it works fairly well in cold weather. So we'll see how that turns out. We got CLP on the top here. Benelli MF82 on the bottom. You can kind of see how similar they are. Next up, we got Hoppe's 9. Again, this stuff is ubiquitous. You can get it Walmart, wherever. Any gun store is going to have Hoppe's 9. This is the Hoppe's 9 lubricating oil. It's nice and cheap. You can get it about $1.33 an ounce. So not too shabby. It's a fairly light oil, somewhat similar to CLP. Get the little container out here for you. That's what it looks like. perfectly clear, but you can see unlike the RemOil, there's some viscosity to it. It doesn't want to flow freely. And this is the CLP for reference. Pretty similar. A little bit thicker than CLP. Next up, we have Slipmm 2000 EWL. This is a pretty old bottle. I think they have something like Slipmm 2000 EWL 30 now. I don't know if there's a difference. I don't have any. I got this stuff for free, so I'm not complaining. It's a little more expensive than most other oils. Comes in at $4.17 an ounce. Let's see if I can find my sample here. Here we go. This is Slipmm 2000. Little bit thicker than Hops 9. You can kind of tell, you can see how much it's leaving on the walls of the plastic there. It stays in places better than other oils do. Here's Hops 9 on the top. Give you an idea of what that's like at room temperature. All right, next up, some more helpful consumer advice. Brownells friction defense, which is a thing that exists, or used to. I got this for free. Never used it. It's just been in my little shelf of minigun oils. So here's what it looks like in a cup. Very red. And there is Slipmm 2000 next to it. Getting a little bit thicker than Slipmm 2000 there. It's getting to the point where I don't know if this is an oil I'd want to use for most things, which is maybe why they discontinued it. All right, next up we've got an oil that I don't use to lubricate things with, but it says it can be used for just about anything. However, I use it for obviously the advertised purpose. This is Corrosion Technologies CorrosionX for guns. They have many different CorrosionX products. This is the actual product that's marketed for guns. It's reasonably inexpensive, $2.67 an ounce. Smells pretty good too. It's very inoffensive, the odor. I use this stuff just to like coat the outside of firearms that are prone to rust here when it gets really humid. Works really great. Even on like carry guns, if you want to put a little bit of it on a rear sight and kind of let it flash off, whatever it leaves behind works really well at inhibiting rust. I like it a lot. Next up, we've got Lucas Oil Extreme Duty Gun Oil. This stuff is relatively inexpensive for a new Wonder Oil. Most Lucas Oil products, I guess, are pretty inexpensive. It comes in about $1.71 an ounce. And here's what it looks like in the container. See, it's getting pretty thick. We'll throw up the good old Brownells friction defense. You can see how it kind of doesn't want to flow. It's got a real thickness to it. We'll throw up Slipmm 2000 as well. That's probably the closest comparison that most people would actually use. So we got Slipmm 2000 on the bottom and Lucas Oil on the top. Kind of see the difference there. The Slipmm 2000 definitely wants to flow a lot more than the Lucas Oil, which, you know, for something they call extreme, cold's pretty extreme. I don't think that oil's going to do well in the cold. All right, last we have Milkcom MC2500, what they also call TW25B oil. There's a TW25B grease as well. I kind of like this stuff for certain applications. However, the containers it comes in are useless. This is a syringe. It just shoots oil out everywhere, which is why I actually switched to a cheapo $1.99 precision applicator off of Amazon. This works a heck of a lot better. But this is what it comes in. There's also a larger bottle that has a pump sprayer on it. I have no clue what the pump sprayer would be used for other than just getting oil everywhere. This is what it looks like. It's kind of a milky kind of oil, and you need to shake it before you use it because it does have some stuff in it that kind of separates out. But you can see how thick that oil is. It really sticks together pretty good. And by way of comparison, here is Lucas Oil. Kind of hard to tell, but you get the idea. They're both pretty thick oils. So what we're going to do is we're going to put all these in a box and stick them outside overnight, let them get down to ambient temperature, which is, by the forecast, going to be negative 17 degrees again. We'll see how that actually turns out. Hopefully I'll save a screenshot on my phone so you can see what the actual temperature was when I tested things. Oh, it's morning. Let's see what we got here. I'm not sure if you can see that. That's a little bit below negative 20 on the little thermometer there. Might excuse my voice. It seems overnight I've developed a frog in my throat. It's about negative 20 degrees outside. Moved down to the garage on account of the wind being pretty cold. First off, you got RemOil. RemOil still... Why is this stuff so light? I don't understand. Negative 20 degrees. Look at that. It's crazy. Benelli MF82. Benelli MF82 is sludge. CLP. This is shocking to me. CLP did remarkably well. It's not anywhere near the consistency it was, of course, but it is not sludge. Hoppe's 9 is no longer oil. That's a fail. Slipmm 2000. Extreme weapons lubricant. This is pretty extreme. Fail. Brownells friction defense. Kind of not as good as CLP, but not terrible. Corrosion Technologies CorrosionX for guns is no longer oil. Lucas oil, extreme gun oil, extreme duty. No longer oil. And Milkcom MC2500. Now keep in mind, this was the thickest grease I had before it was freezing outside. And this stuff is still, while it's not anywhere near as good as CLP in this kind of weather, that's not awful. It's still moving. Your gun would feel pretty gummy, I would think, but it wouldn't be locked up. There are a few conclusions that we can draw from this. First and foremost is that you should definitely test the oil you use in your guns in all weather conditions that you may experience. Obviously, there are plenty of oils, even new and popular oils like Lucas oil, that can turn to sludge very quickly. Second, more expensive and popular doesn't equal better. CLP had a pretty good showing despite being cheap, ubiquitous, and I would venture out of vogue. Third, don't assume that all oils uniformly increase in viscosity as the temperature drops. Hoppe's 9 was both one of the lightest oils at room temperature and one of the thickest at negative 20. Conversely, Milkcom MC2500 was one of the thickest oils at room temperature and was middle of the pack at negative 20. With that out of the way, you may be thinking, why didn't you test my favorite oil? And the answer to that is, I don't have it. I tested everything I had on hand. Like AVE says, make cool shit and put it on the internet. If you've got an oil you want to see tested, test it yourself. Unless it's fire clean, because fire clean is a scam. Don't put food products on your rifles. If you like this video, please subscribe. Or do not, I am not a beggar. Thanks for watching.